And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're going to take a look at an older game, a very old game. This one here, let's see, came out in 2001. Okay, I guess that's not that old, but that is not when Shark initially came out. It came out before that. So it's an older game. Many people, Shark is a very similar game to a very popular game that people have played called Acquire. Acquire is a game where you build little companies on the board and there can be mergers and all sorts of things. Shark is kind of like Acquire if Acquire walked up to you and hit you in the face. Okay? That's Shark. Let me show you. The game of Shark is all about buying shares of 4 different companies, and they have what, NYSO, Wings, Smith & Smith, and Empire, but it doesn't really matter. They're yellow, blue, red, and green. And the game comes with paper money because it was made before a time when paper money was considered idiotic. Well, okay, that time is still not here, but I'm going to keep crusading for it. But anyhow, in this game, you're trying to get the most money, okay? So what you're going to be doing at the beginning of your turn, you can buy up to 5 shares of stock, and you can sell as many as you want. And the current price of stock for each of the companies is kept track with over here. And then you're going to roll 2 dice. When you roll these dice, you're going to roll a color building that matches one of the stocks. And you'll roll either a quadrant, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or you'll roll the shark symbol, which is the middle area. So when I do that, I will take a matching color of the company. Let's say I rolled a yellow one and I rolled 1, and I could put it any spot in there. That actually would make yellow go up to 1,000. However, in the future, if I put a yellow over here, that would not do anything. But when I put a yellow next to a yellow on the board, when I form a chain of more than 1, this becomes 2,000, and now we increase the amount to 2,000. And if I build a chain here of 2,000, that would increase it up to 4,000. And so building chains, even if they go across the borders of quadrants, can make the price of your stock go up. Fantastic. But stock will also go down, because if you ever place one chain so that it becomes adjacent to another chain, the smaller chain gets gobbledygooked up and is gone, and the shares go down by the number of buildings that were destroyed of that color. Now, every time shares go up, everyone gets dividends equal to the difference in the new price. Huzzah! For each share you have. I have 6 shares of yellow. It goes up by 2. I just got 12,000. But the same thing happens when it goes down, and you have to pay up the shares. And if you don't have enough money to pay for that, then you're forced to sell shares to the bank for half their value. It is possible that a color be obliterated from the board, and in fact, when colors are removed from the board, they are taken out of the game rather than back into the stock of buildings. So you're going to keep building and buying stock, and this is going to happen until one of the companies gets all the way up to 15,000, okay, or when all the buildings of one color are out of the stock that's being played. At that point, I'm sorry, or all shares have been sold by all the players. I don't know that I've ever seen that happen. But anyhow, everyone immediately sells all their shares, they add up all their cash, and whoever has the most money wins the game. You can also play a variant with these black buildings, because on the die there's a white and a black building, and when you roll these in a regular game, you can put out any color building you want. But in this game, when you roll those colors, you can put out, these are called top buildings, and these can increase you by 2,000. And a top building may only be taken over by a chain of companies. You can't just add 1 to it. You need to have 2, and then it increases it by 2,000 rather than 1,000. And so that's basically the only difference there. The game can be very mean because prices can go down in a hurry. You can have a big chain of 6 and a big chain of 7, and if they get connected, you're in trouble. But anyhow, whoever has the most money at the end is the winner. I like Acquire a lot, but Acquire over the years has been replaced first by Union Pacific and then by Airlines Europe. which are very similar games, and that's a different thing. But I've hung on to Shark for a while. Now, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because it's in this size box, which I miss, and I wish some companies would still do this size box, but it is what it is. But Shark is so mean and nasty. I mean, it's really mean and nasty. You you have to be very careful. Every time I roll, I'm like, oh, I got to put a yellow building somewhere. Oh, I got to put it in quadrant 1. I'm going to try to put it as far away from every other building because I don't need them coming over. I have a lot invested in yellow shares, and there's this constant destruction. I mean, people can get really mad at Shark because they put a lot of money in the company, and other people will deliberately destroy that company. It is not called Shark by accident, okay? This is the prerequisite to Shark Tank. I mean, you are vicious, you are mean in this game, you're at the whim of the dice, but the dice still give you a fair amount of latitude as to where you place your buildings. And this constant gobbling up of smaller companies, it's a horrible thing in real life, and it's pretty horrible in this game too. But I don't mind it so much because you go in the game with the mindset of that. Yeah, it's your typical stock market game where you buy low, sell high, but the price can fluctuate pretty fast. Now, once a company gets really strong, it's hard to take them out. And that usually precipitates the end of the game. You see blue has expanded to this massive beast, and who's going to take it out? Although, they can still be hurt by you building small blue companies in other spots and then having people take them out. So it is an interesting thing. You'll see fluctuation back and forth. I would say I've seen the game go out just as much from one of the company colors running out as it does from a company going all the way up to 15. Although it's about even in both of them. This game is certainly not for everyone. There's a reason it's not nearly as popular as Acquire, which is probably why most of you have never heard of it. But if you do run across it at a garage sale or on eBay or such, it's certainly one worth giving a try. There's a lot of stock market games out there. There's some mean ones out there, but Shark may just be one of the meanest ones ever played. And sometimes that's good to get off your chest.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door.